Hi everyone, this is Astrologer Tisch Aitken, and I'm here to discuss the new moon in Aries that takes place on March 24th, 2020 at 4 degrees of Aries. This new moon is a very powerful new moon. It's it's 5 days after the spring equinox when the sun enters the sign of Aries and begins the astrological new year. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's a cardinal fire sign that's very enthusiastic and exuberant, and it's about new beginnings. It's very passionate. It's the child of the zodiac. It's very impulsive. It's very much about wanting to originate new things. It's the pioneer. But, we've just recently had very difficult aspects in the day before Mars meets up with Pluto in the sky. Exactly, and that's a very combative and warlike aspect, and that is in the new moon chart. And the new moon has Pisces ascendant. Neptune rules the chart, so it is pardon me, it actually has Aquarius ascendant. So Uranus rules the chart, and Saturn is the ancient ruler. And the new moon itself is also conjunct Chiron, which is the wounded healer. And Chiron is also squaring the nodes of fate because Aries, the new moon is at 4 degrees and Chiron is at 5 degrees of Aries. And so, they're very closely linked. So, with everything that's happened, understandably, people are going to be feeling very wounded and a lot of pain. And this is a time that we will be dealing with a lot of challenges, but yet there again is a lot of cardinal energy to launch and initiate new beginnings. With a new moon in the first house, it's very much a time to set intentions and to launch new things. There is an aspect of many shifts as well because Saturn will have changed signs on March 21st, and it's at the first degree of Aquarius. It's at 0 degrees. And Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius. So it's the ancient ruler of this chart with Aquarius ascendant. And with Saturn falling in the 12th house, it's not the easiest placement. Jupiter and Pluto will both be falling in the 11th house of friends and groups and networking. And that also is where we want to connect this energy and really want to connect with one another. Obviously, with Capricorn energy so enforced right now, we ourselves are being enforced to stay inside and to stay remote. But this is a big time for connecting, and this is a big time for healing with Chiron so prominent in this chart and working with the nodes of fate and with this new moon. So I do think that the positive part of this is this new moon is very much about healing wounds and starting the healing process. And we are all also embarking on a new journey of Saturn in Aquarius because it is at a fresh new degree. It hasn't been in the sign of Aquarius since 1994. So this is now a new beginning for us. It will be there briefly until July 2nd, and then it re-enters for good on December 17th of this year. But with Saturn in Aquarius, it's going to be a much different theme than Capricorn, although it is the ancient ruler of Aquarius. It is quite different in that Aquarius is very much about futuristic thinking, whereas Capricorn can be much more about the tradition and the old and the past in a sense. It's about inventiveness. It's about futuristic thinking. And I think that this will be a good shift for us after such a intense time collectively for several years. But we are getting a glimpse of that. The Mars-Pluto aspect that takes place the day before will still be looming in this new moon chart, and that is, again, quite an intense one. And that's close to the world axis because Pluto is at 24 degrees, as was Mars at that conjunction. And so that's still being felt on a very global level, which again is understandable. And I would take this new moon to set new intentions of what you want to create in your life, because again, it's the beginning of the astrological new year right after the spring equinox. And I think that there is a lot of cardinal energy for us to tap into. And I think that it's also a time that, well, the new moon itself is setting off the solar eclipse from December 26th directly, because that new moon eclipse was at 4 degrees of Capricorn, and now this new moon is at 4 degrees of Aries, and also a cardinal sign. So it's triggering that. So more themes are coming up from that solar eclipse. And recently the South Node has just triggered off that point. So more coming forward from the story that you've been working with, that we've all been working with the last few months, with this, historical lineup in Capricorn and the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, the eclipses, Jupiter in Capricorn. It's quite an intense time. So I wish you a lot of luck. Have a very productive new moon. The new moon is ruled by Mars, which is the warrior of the zodiac. Mars will retrograde in Aries in the fall, from September until November. So, right now we're not yet in that retrograde energy. So really launch new beginnings while we have time, because it's going to be a little more difficult later in the year. Venus is going to retrograde in May, and Mars will retrograde in September, and they don't retrograde annually. So let's use this new moon and fight, and good luck to all of you. Thank you.